to be back. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome you here to the great nation of Italy. It's the 14th round of XRL's X3 Championship Division, and they're going to be running at the hyper-fast Monza. Hi, I'm Insane Layer 13, and I'm joined in the booth here today once again by XRL Ozda. Ozda, it's great to have you here. It's been a long 2-week break, but we're finally back to actual racing.
Yeah, it's been quite a lengthy week. We've had dramatic scenes in real F1, so hopefully we don't have that here, but Monza is the basically temple of speed, so we're going to see a lot of overtakes with the DRS assist and also the overtake ERS system that is integrated into the cars here today. Yeah, so we're going to see some high speeds around about 210 miles an hour on the pitch straight. The corners we got to really look out for here today with drivers maybe messing up is the two Lesmos and also a Scari, maybe a Parabolica if you get on the power too early and the rear comes out, but I don't think we'll see that many instances of Parabolica here today.
Alright, so my question to you, Ozda, you were in the dev race where everything went absolutely topsy-turvy, but what is the ideal car setup for these events?
Well, obviously temple of speed, you're gonna wanna run low wings, but also with a Scari and the two Lesmos, you gotta have a bit of rear wing as well to keep that stability. With the suspension geometry, you gotta have it tuned to low, high speed, and top speed as well. But with tire pressures and all that, you gotta have them really low so you keep that degradation down, but also keep the heat in the tires as well.
Looking at our grid real quickly, on the Mercedes AMG Petronas F1 team, it's XRL Snake and XXX Bucks. XXX Scuderia Ferrari is being rounded up by XRL Smish and XRL Turbo, while the Aston Martin Red Bull team has XRL Whippy and XRL Patriot trying to continue the solid run that they've had starting the midpoint of the season. McLaren is going to have Carlos Jackson and XRL Stumpy in those cars. They've been very successful this year. Renault is going to see Tino Farah 1998 return along with XRL Herbie. Scuderia AlphaTauri Honda is going to see Fratters and Fritz once again taking the helm. In the Racing Point, one of the most successful drivers we've had this season, Retro XC is going to be joining the track along with his teammate Find Waldo. Alfa Romeo Racing Orlean is going to have Otway and LDT Davi. Williams is going to have Schold and Constant Jet in the car. And for the Haas team, it's Boothby 116. His teammate has not shown up yet. We anticipate that he will hopefully attempt to show up before we get too far underway here.
Also something to mention is that Patriot does have a qualifying ban. Something did happen in a practice session here, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, and because it was a practice session, it didn't really mean anything, and we had a 2-week break. He did say that he wanted to convert it over to a qualifying ban here today, just because I felt like a qualifying session ban wouldn't be enough, and hats off to him that he's actually done that, because obviously, starting at the front of the grid at Monza, you either want to start at the back or at the front. The middle is going to be quite hairy going into turn one, as it is pretty short, not that wide as well, and also F1 cars are big and beefy, so it's going to make some interesting racing here today, and let's hope we get underway pretty soon.
Yeah, stand by. I believe we're only waiting on one more driver at this point. Running just a little bit behind our normal schedule, but I'm not too terribly concerned about it. Qualifying here, although it's still the typical 18, 15, 12-minute session, I imagine we'll cut off a little bit of time. We won't have to worry too much about people wasting time on the track.
Yeah, so obviously an hour of full qualifying intense moments. Obviously, we have the usual Q1, Q2, and Q3, and we usually have also the 50% race distance. So yeah, I don't know why drivers are readying up. I haven't had a Discord notification yet, but anyway, yeah. So obviously, equal cars.
I just got the Discord notification.
Right, okay, no worries. Obviously, car performance is equal because we don't want people in Williams to suffer. And yeah, safety car on, dynamic damage, vehicle damage on full. So you got to watch out for the guys in turn 1 who are going to be a bit too aggressive and maybe hit people. To be fair, Dev didn't do too bad with turn 1. Obviously, I did have really bad connection issues there, so I can't really comment on it. But you know, drivers are going to have to be very, very cautious going into turn 1 here today. And also basically for the whole first lap, really, because they're all going to be really tight together. Monza, you know, they really overtake on the straights, and that's what we're going to see most about overtaking here today.
Alright, now we're beginning to load on to the circuit. One of the unique things about Monza is that, like you said, Temple of Speed. Back in the day, it used to be a high-banked oval, then it kind of got morphed into an oval road course hybrid with super high curved banks. Now, it's still a pretty flat track, but due to the nature of the series that race here, and the fact that you have 3 really long straightaways and then a 4th straight that kind of also blends into a full throttle corner, there's this, you spend a lot of time on throttle here. It's going to be very interesting. My question is there a risk in this game? I don't know how this game is set up in all the little ways. Is there a risk of running out of fuel on this track, considering how often you're on the throttle in the race itself?
Yeah, there is a chance of you running out of fuel. If we do ever see that, we'll only see it at the closing stages of the race. You will never see it early. Yeah, you can run out of fuel. So drivers have got to be pretty conservative if they do want to underfuel the car, because obviously that gives them an advantage. But then you've also got to sort out, you know, fuel management and stuff like that, putting it into lean. Wet quali, yes. All right.
And this is a big one right here. I don't know how many drivers may or may not have prepared for this, but under a high-speed track, you're going to really have to find that perfect balance between keeping the grip in the tires on this wet circuit and maintaining control of the car to get a fast lap. So this could get very interesting very quickly here.
Yeah, so obviously there's been a new league set up over the course of these 2 weeks called PFR. It's run by XRL Tom. He usually hosts these sessions, but he's not here unfortunately. So the assistant X3 admin is gonna be in a minute and see if it is a dry race. If it is, then we could see drivers maybe losing a bit of the back end. That's obviously they don't want to put a wet setup on for the dry race. Also, it's not full wet, it's only intermediate, so we shouldn't see too many slips and slides. But obviously, any wet is still have to be pretty cautious there.
LDT Davia is going to the second chicanes right now. He is the first driver to jump onto the circuit. He was joined shortly afterwards by the McLaren teammates XRL Stumpy and Carlos Jackson. Even under wet conditions, it's very likely that those two will try and make something happen when it comes to slipstreaming shenanigans here.
Yeah, obviously you don't. I mean, in the wet you obviously want that slipstream, but then you're gonna have the spray as well. So it's a little like bit of, you know, what's the word? I don't know. I can't get the word out. Bittersweet. That's it.
A gamble.
So, yeah, a bit of gamble as well. Obviously, because you want the extra speed, you want that top speed, you want all the speed it can get in this track, on this track. But obviously, you got the spray as well, which does really hamper your vision. So maybe if the slipstream into turn 1, say, and you're behind the car, and you have this spray coming up at you, then you're going to miss your braking points, and you're going to obviously invalidate and stuff like that. So yeah, so LDT Davey starting his hot lap here today. One place where you got to watch out for is turn 1. Actually, no, turn 2. Sorry, the sausage curb. Because we'll probably see a few guys spin out there. As if you do the sausage curb, it'll unbalance the car and it'll make you spin.
We're going to go ahead, be quiet for about a lap, and ride on board with Careless Jackson, you can get an idea of what it's like to drive Monza in quali under wet conditions. And Patriot has gone out there in turn 3. You're gonna go ahead and leave the onboard for a second. So you can see, looking at turbo, you can see that Patriot's car completely off on the entrance of the 3rd corner, and Patriot will by default not be able to migrate into Q2 after that extreme crash damage.
Yeah, he already had qualifying ban anyway, so it wouldn't really matter, but it's not really too good to retire on track. He also didn't mean it, he's doing that out lap to lock his setup up, and unfortunately he crashed, so yeah, that's going to be, well, he weren't going to qualify anyway, so it doesn't really make a change for him.
Stumpy now goes to the top as he was the first driver to set a clean lap, 135.348, and he immediately gets knocked out by Boothie with a 132.897, and then Schold goes even higher than that with a 132.278.
So it looks like we have a massive kerfuffle in Sector 1. There's a load of drivers there. They really need to space out, otherwise, you know, they'll get penalties for using the switching from another driver, so they really need to just chill out and you know, let some people go, some people on hot laps and some people aren't.
The one who really stands to gain from it, as right on board Stumpy, you can see the spray, is the two McLarens of Stumpy and Careless Jackson. The two of them are still nose to tail, so at the least, Stumpy is pretty much guaranteed to not have to worry about a penalty from getting the tow from other drivers, or at least less likely worry about that penalty.
Yeah, so the rule is with XRL, you can get a tow from your teammate but no one else, as Davey does a 130.8, 2 seconds quicker than Schold. That is absolutely amazing.
Stumpy's off! Stumpy has gone off there on the entrance. He's gone all the way around the track. There's no damage on that car, but he cut right across the track. The car just slid out under him on the final left-hand turn, coming onto that 3rd straightaway, and he's really struggling to find a clean portion of track to merge back onto. I believe that's Retro who has gone by. It's either Retro or Waldo, and now Stumpy is going to attempt to get underway here.
Yeah, that is a really deadly corner, especially in the dry, so no wonder it's going to be really hot for the drivers in the wet. The main thing about Scary is just try and keep it stable, don't put the power down too early, as that is Careless Jackson.
Careless Jackson has gone through the boards as well. He's come to a complete stop in the runoff there, but he went right through the boards.
Yeah, I think he's just letting people by, probably.
I don't see any damage on the car.
Yeah, neither do I, so I think he's just letting people by.
But he's going to be out of fuel. It's flashing on the fuel monitor, so I think this lap's going to be pretty much buggered anyway.
Yeah, so, oh yeah, as I was saying with like, before with fuel, you can't actually physically run out of fuel. You can go into something called low fuel mode, which will reduce your speed massively to about 60 miles an hour. I don't know what that is in the other, you know, conversion thing. Yeah, kilometers. But
that's going to be about like 85, 90, somewhere in there.
Yeah, so yeah, you can't actually physically like stop on track and like that you have no fuel and you can't push the car. You go into the low fuel mode and it will reduce your speed drastically. When you do go into low fuel mode, the game will instantly bring that yellow flag to let you know that you're going slow. So that's a good thing. And yeah, so yeah, let's just I'm gonna go ride on board with Whitby as he's coming to the end of his lap, but he has a few people in front of him. I think that is Smish and Tino Farah as well. And these guys are really close together. They shouldn't be this close together in quali. And I think that's another guy in Sector 2 who is, run out of fuel. So, Schmish goes 5th with a 132.2.
Whippy goes 7th.
Yep, with a 132.4. So, it's looking in the 132s where people are averaging at. Also, you know, we've got Boovy and Davey and Atsui who are breaking that. I would like to see Retro Rixie up there. What he should really do is... Sorry.
He's pulling off the track right now, so he's not taking the draft off someone else by the looks of it.
Yeah, I'm just getting distracted by the yellow flags because people are letting people by. I keep on thinking people have been in it. Yeah, so Roger Rixie should really just get into the pits, get some fresh intermediates on and really just get out there and push it even more, but it seems like he is not. He's going for another lap, I think. Unless that is...
Davey, who currently has the fastest time, went off there on the entrance to the 3rd straightaway. That's the 3rd car we've seen go off. Again, no damage for Davey, but still, it's definitely going to hurt him. He's also in the low fuel mode as well.
Yeah, so I was looking at Fine Waldo. So yeah, Retro Rixie's coming to Parabolica now. So it seems these drivers are taking it in 4th, which is actually the normal gear you would use for drive. So we could see some people in the race of higher fuel loads taking in 5th. But yeah, Retro Rixie's coming back to the pits now. Smitchy's invalidated. Whippy is on an in lap. He's pulling into the pits now. I think that is Turbo. No, I think it's
Snake has yet to leave the pits to set his first lap. I don't know if he's starting in a qualifying ban or if he's just waiting and hoping that the track will dry out a bit more. Constant Jet, Herbie, and Fine Waldo are all out on track trying to set their first flying laps. Herbie has a purple sector 1, but he gets really, really squirrely coming out of the 2nd chicane.
Yeah, so obviously we've got to really look out for the 2nd chicane. Excuse me. Yeah, so with the 2nd chicane, you can cut the corner quite a bit, but with the dry, it does get a tiny bit squirrely. So with the wet, it's going to be even more squirrely. So we've got to watch out for that. Let's see what he does in the Scary.
Purple sector 2 as well.
Oh, it was a bit
so
of a
he is
slide,
on track to set at least a time.
Yeah, he saved it, which is alright. He's looking pretty decent here. But yeah, I think Snake is just waiting it out, or he may not even qualify at all. Because maybe the back of the grid is where he wants to be. I'm not too sure about it. As Herbie comes across the line now, what is he going to do? He's going to say a magnificent time. Wow. 1:31.
Outstanding move, right to 3rd.
I mean,
outstanding move.
2:55. That is amazing.
Constant Jet is in the pits, and Snake has just begun his outlap, and we have only about 7 minutes left of the session.
Yeah, so obviously it's enough time for these drivers to get out there and do their hot laps. I think Snake was just waiting for track development to happen, obviously that dry line to come up, so then you can get better grip with those intermediate tyres. Yeah, amazing lap from Herbie there. You know, I would have expected him to be maybe 9th or 10th, just edging to get through to Q3 if he did get through to Q2. But he is way safe into Q2 now, so you can... Oh, a bit of a slide.
Oh, there goes one of the Renaults.
Yeah, that was...
Tino Farah made it, so that was Herbie who went off there. Also of note, I just noticed this, Whippy has gone to the full wet tire compound, and he's on an outlap right now, of course.
I don't think it's that wet. I mean, I'm not too sure because I'm not driving it, so I wouldn't really know, but it doesn't seem that wet. I mean, obviously it's wet, but I don't think it's wet for wets. I just said wet like 50 times in that sentence. But yeah, I don't think it is time for wets just yet. But anyway, that's just his preference. We'll see if he can go a little bit quicker. But yeah, Snake, he's now starting his hot lap. Tino Farah is starting his hot lap again to try and get through to Q2. And yeah, this is going to be a very interesting race. Obviously, if it is still wet in Q2, then the gyros. If it is dry, we'll have a free tyre choice, so that could make things very interesting.
XRL Snake invalidate has not started a lap yet until now, so he's now on a flying lap with 5 minutes left in the session. Him and Constant Jet are the two drivers who are going to have to fight XRL Stumpy and Tino Farah to get into Q2 here.
Yeah, they are. Snake, he should easily get through to Q2. I know he has quite a lot of pace. I don't think he is really enjoying Monza that much. But you know, you just gotta stick with it and deal with it, really. Yeah, I just saw that Renault nearly die. But yeah, let's see how he takes Scary here. In fourth, a bit hesitant into the first bit. Rides the curb. I'm surprised he touched that curb on exit because that usually sends people around. But anyway, coming now down to Parabolica. Let's see what gear he takes this in. It'll be about fourth. Yeah. Gotta be quite hesitant on the power of the exit of that in the wet. He crosses the line. What's he gonna do? 1:31.9.
And Tino Farah jumps up to second with that twitchy build, 1:30.738 as well. But I wonder if Tino may have had a bit of a draft assist from Snake.
That could be it, yeah. But still, it's an amazing time from Tino. I have seen his pace; it is pretty good. To start the race, he is inconsistent. So yeah, we just gotta wait for the race and see if he can convert that into something good, or maybe convert Q3 into something good as well. So obviously that sets the grid. So yeah, let's just hope.
Constant Jet's got a lot to work on.
Yeah.
He ran wide coming out of Parabolica, got the left rear tire on the curves and spat the car just a little bit sideways. Not horribly, but you don't want to be getting sideways coming onto the main straightaway here. That really, really hurts your time. That not only took time away from that lap, it's going to take time away from this lap as well.
Yeah, it is. Basically, if you nail Parabolica just right, you'll get a really amazing run into your hot lap. So that is very crucial here. And Davey, he's going out again on an out lap. I don't know why you would want to improve even more when you know he's through to Q2. But anyway, so the drivers at risk now are Fritz, Waldo, Turbo and Constant. Fritz can probably improve on that time. Waldo may be able to. Turbo, he's been looking pretty promising all season, so I'm expecting him to get through to Q2. And Fradders, he's in 11th, well now 12th, because Turbo's gone 8th. But yeah, Fradders, he's been pretty racy all season, so you could see him maybe get through his Q2. As Retro Rixie goes.
And that's one of the Alfa Romeos have gone around there. I think that was Davi. Yes, it is Davi. Davi has gone around, coming out, and Constant Jet has retired from the session. Something has happened to Constant Jet. I think he's just left. I don't know if he left or.
Oh no, he's died on the straight. Yeah, he's gone on the. I don't know how he's gone on the straight, but he's gone on the straight.
And Stumpy has gone off as well there. I can't get a good look at Constant Jet though. I can't find any cars that would give me a good look. Schold has now retired from the session. But he was in the pit lane, so I think he's pretty confident that he's not going to get knocked out. No, he just got knocked out. Schold goes to 16th, and Fritz goes off circuit as he's trying to improve on his lap, but he's going to spin around now, coming out of the first chicane. All of a sudden, in the last 3 minutes, there's like 4 different things happening all over the track.
Yeah, it's crazy. Everyone wants to get out, everyone wants to improve on their time. But some people don't really need to. Whippy is going to try and improve his lap now. He's only just going to make it to the line. Stumpy retires in the pits. Obviously, he's very happy with that lap time. Stumpy, we've seen in previous sessions that he hasn't really done good in qualifying, but Monza seems to be his turnaround.
bunch of drivers now pulling into the pits, bringing them into their attempts. Retro goes up to second. Stumpy had been in second, but now Retro jumps up to second. He's got 130.296. So Retro finally showing the true speed we know that he has.
Yeah, obviously we don't have cargo here. I think, yeah, Davey is a reserve. But Davey being so quick, that will bring Alfa Romeo a lot of points. And Turbo's left. Uh-oh.
And Books goes to second now, 130.279. Here comes Fritz coming out of Parabolica. He's going to finish up his lap. What will his time be at the line? It's not going to be even remotely good enough. He's only at 147.494. The real question here is going to be Whippy, as Whippy is coming down the final straight and entering Parabolica as we speak.
Yeah, it seems to be a good luck from Whippy here. If he can just chain it all right into Parabolica, doesn't lose that much time. Right curve, not really the best idea. But he's going to do a rounder of a lap and get to 11th for 131.3. That's going to definitely screw him into Q2.
And now the question is, will Fratters be able to make it in? If Fratters can make it in, that will not... Yeah, he's just invalidated, so Fratters will not make it in. And he will join Schold, Fritz, and Patriot as the drivers who will not be able to advance. Davi is still out there on a flying lap, I think.
Wow! Look at Retro Flexie's time, 129.3. That is nearly a second quicker. So track development is obviously really, really interesting.
No! Davi, 128.7! The track had dried out in the last minute, I'd say, and it was enough for Retro and Davi to put down some of the fastest times we've seen this entire session.
That is absolutely astoundingly good. I don't have any words. I don't have any words. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna shut up. But wow, a 129. That is crazy. So yeah, the track is obviously drying out. The rain seems to be really not that heavy anymore, and we could see some very interesting times into Q3.
Maybe a possible consideration for the soft tire compound going into Q2, and definitely we'll see some blistering times in Q3. But right now, the drivers who won't even make it to Q2, let alone Q3, are as follows. XRL Patriot, he wrecked out in his setup lap, and he was serving a quali ban anyway, so he wasn't going to advance. Then you have XRL Fritz in the AlphaTauri, Schold in the Williams, Fratters in the other AlphaTauri, and Constant Jet in the Williams. So Williams and AlphaTauri really struggling very badly here today. Every other team, though, has both of their cars in, with the exception of Red Bull. Whippy is the only Red Bull to make it into Q2.
Yeah, I had high expectations for Whippy. I don't know if you've seen the clip, but in PF4 qualifying, he basically flipped his car at the exit of Ascari. So obviously we don't want to see that today, but yeah, I had very high expectations for him today, and he obviously delivered. Hoping he can get through to Q3. And yeah, I've of high expectations for these drivers, and it's dry. Yes, right.
Yep. It's full on dry. The track is a little bit foggy, and there may be a chance that the rain may return.
You know, I think maybe there might be some standing water somewhere, but it does look really dry.
Sorry.
Not really that many, and there's a bit of dampness I can see in the tarmac here, but obviously I haven't seen the full circuit, so I wouldn't know. And the first person now is going to be... That is a hat of Boovie. He's out. Oh no, it's not wet, it's not dry enough. He's going out in the intermediates. Unless I think that might be a mistake.
I think that's a mistake. The track looks pretty dry to me.
Yeah, the track looks really dry. Everyone's out in the intermediates. Maybe the track isn't dry enough. Because there is a little bit of spray coming up, but it seems dry.
Is that spray or is that exhaust fumes? That looks like exhaust fumes.
It looks like spray, because there's a little bit of spray. Oh, yes. Stumpy's just gone, so... I mean, Carlos Jackson's gone, so yeah, it's definitely dry. It is not wet whatsoever. But intermediate, so to say.
Tino Farah is jumping onto medium tire compound, so it looks like Tino will be the very first person to try and run on dry tires. Now, granted, Tino's not left the pits yet, but as the first person to put on dry tire compounds, I think that says quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't know, the track does genuinely look dry, so I think after this outlet everyone's going to go and put on the either mediums or softs or whatever the strategy they're going to do. And I've just had a text from Snake saying that is a wet quali, obviously we know that, but a dry race with rain towards the end, so that could spice things up massively. Oh! Peters winning the wall, he's got no wing damage, but I was on board with him. I was looking at my phone and I just pooed my pants. So, yeah, that was quite scary.
So even on the intermediate tires, which are significantly slower mid-corner, we're still seeing cars slide out and have issues there, going onto the entrance of the third straightaway.
Yeah, I think most people are going to come into the pits. Apparently people are not.
Smish is still out there. Smish and Turbo are still out there. It looks like they're going to try and set times on the intermediate tires.
Yeah, I really don't think that's a good idea. The track is
well
dry.
Yeah, the only reason I could see them doing that is thinking that if they jump onto intermediates, they might still get a tire compound of their choice.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is the difference in performance ability between the mediums and the intermediates, let alone the softs and intermediates, are going to be so massive I don't see a benefit. Especially now that DRS just got enabled, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I really don't think these guys should be intermediates. I'm riding on board with Stumpy and the car is basically uncontrollable. So we should see a few drivers go out on the dry tyres pretty soon.
Well,
intermediates are definitely not a choice.
Yeah, we have 4 people who have swapped to dry tire compounds, either mediums or soft. Boothie on the softs, Smish first across the line 129.024. Boothie and Books, Books has gone back to mediums, but Boothie, Books, Herbie, and Tino Farah and Whippy all are on dry tire compounds, but none of them have left the pit lane. Yeah, actually, no, I take that back. Herbie and Boothby are now on their outlaps.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go and ride board with Boothby as he is on the soft tyre. And it definitely is.
That was Retro. Retro's gone around completely there.
Yeah, dry tyres are definitely the option now. Intermediates are a no-go right now. So yeah, dry tyres. Boys, if you're watching the stream, get him on.
And the big thing about and Retro spins the rears again. Those rears definitely probably melted down just a little bit, but yeah, the big thing about this though is that with all these drivers putting initial laps on intermediates, that's going to eat up a good deal of time in Q2. I do think everyone will still be able to set clean times, but we're going to see drivers kind of hustling it in the last few minutes to make up for all this time that they lost early on.
Yeah, so running on with Boovy.
Boovy is in the wall! He's gone off, coming out of Parabolica, so maybe it's not just a wet and dry tire thing. He was on the softs and went right off. I didn't see what caused him to go off, but that was
I think it was just power application too early, as I said before. So dry tires are definitely the option. He just was a bit too early in the power there.
Boothie, right at that really awkward point on the track, he needs to cut right across the track at almost a 90-degree angle if he wants to make it into the pit lane. But his struggle has been trying to get clean track. All right, the track is now clean behind him as he will come in and swap out for new tires. The 2 Renaults of Herbie and Tino Farah are out on medium tire compounds. Tino Farah is on an outlap. Herbie is on his initial lap, but he's invalidated as well as he goes into the dirt. And now Fratters has apparently left the session. That's not going to be good.
No, it's not going to be good. But he's not in Q2 anyway.
He didn't make it into Q3, but yeah, that could
lead to... He's probably going to do some time trial.
Well, that could also lead to, or be indicative of connection issues. We've seen that happen a few times before.
Yeah.
A Of note, I'm just going to throw this out there, of the only 3 lap times that have been set thus far, the second fastest is still on the intermediates. Smish, Turbo, and Jackson are the only 3 drivers who have set time thus far. Actually, Smish, he's on mediums now, but he set that time of 1:29.024 on the intermediates as well.
Yeah, so obviously we've got Tino Farah on the mediums now doing his hot lap, so we can have reference. Tino isn't really the best, he has very touchy inputs. But yeah, soft or mediums is definitely the way to go here. Excuse me?
7.898 for Tino Farah coming out of the first sector. Entering that second straightaway here. They'll go under the bridge that once made up the oval section of the track. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
56.9.
Yeah, this is dry tires. No.
And they've got DRS open as well.
Yeah, this is definitely
yeah, he's on dry mediums
now.
and DRS is available. He's not activated though. And that's one of the McLarens, again, have gone off there at the top of the field, at the top of the map. That was Carlos Jackson. He's back underway already. But at the line, for a good reference point, 125.347. And again, that was without DRS on the third straight.
Yeah, a quick time on the softs around here is a 118, but that is X1. So, you know, obviously the track is still developing into a dry track, but it's obviously not intermediates anymore. So the track is probably going to be really, really cold. But yeah, definitely not intermediates. It's definitely mediums or softs.
Kirby will make the other Renault, Doyden's brother, at the top of the time sheets, 125.474, as he now pulls over onto the pit exit. So that way he's not in the way. And now Stumpy, 123.143. Immediately we start to see time shaved off, but with only about 6.5 minutes left in the session, like I said earlier, whatever tires you stick with, I think you're probably going to have to be locked into them at that point.
Yeah, obviously if you get through to Q3, then those are tires you're going to have to start on, so you don't want to put too much degradation on them. So people are going to have to be really, really cautious on their outlaps and inlaps as well.
And Boothie has had an issue again. He's now beginning to get underway, but Boothie, more damage to the front wing. Whatever is with the setup in the Haas, he has now taken damage twice to the nose of the car, and that's really going to hinder his ability to set a time whatsoever, let alone a fast time.
Yeah, I think he was maybe just getting out of the way of, I think that was either Bucks or Snake. Yeah, the Snake. But yeah, I don't know why he's struggling so much. Maybe he's got a wet setup on, I don't know, I'm not too sure. Because the race is dry at the start and then gets wet to the end. So these guys are going to have to figure out what works best with wet and dry at the same time.
Whippy comes across the line. He goes up to second with a 124.635 on the mediums. Now Carlos Jackson jumps ahead of him with a 124.586. And Stumpy, fastest lap, 121.516 on the soft tire compounds in the McLaren.
Yeah, obviously this track is developing really, really aggressively now. But yeah, in Q3 these drivers are probably going to aim for 19s, low 19s, high 19s, if they want to get a good top spot on the grid. If you're starting on the softs, I wouldn't really recommend it. They only go about a couple, like 7 laps, and then they start to drop off. So starting on the mediums is probably the best way to go here.
One of our championship contenders, Otwi, is now coming out of the pits to begin his lap. He really waited. He waited until the last 4.5 minutes just to begin an out lap. So he's either really confident or really cocky, or a mixture of both, as his teammate back there gets really sideways. That was Davi, who nearly whipped that car sideways coming out of the corner. And Whippy has gone off.
Yeah, he's just had a little mishap. He's got no, I don't think he has. He's not obviously DNF the car because he's moving. And Snake, he's got 2 purple sectors and he invalidates. That is commentator's curse for you. But yeah, Snake's gonna have to preserve those tyres and go again. Retrobixy, he's invalidated also. Fan Waldo, he's coming through the second Lesmos now. He's not invalidated.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a good minute almost 2 minutes until another driver sets a lap. Boothie has yet to set a lap, and there's less than 4 minutes in the session. It takes you about a minute and a half to get around the track under a setup. So yeah, Boothie is going to have to scramble. Snake is going to have to scramble as well because he's just coming to the pits. We may see drivers not make it into Q3 by virtue of not setting a time.
Yeah, it's going to be very close. Yeah, it's going to be really, really tight for some drivers here.
Ottaway has now begun his flying lap. He's one of the drivers who are sticking with the medium tire compounds. Boothie is now beginning an outlap. Retro is beginning another lap at full pace. Hopefully doesn't invalidate this one. Snake is in the pit lane. Waldo is going through that first chicane right now. And Davi is coming down towards the second chicane. Davi has a purple sector 126. I think it was 26.9. The number changed before I really got a good look at it.
Excuse me, but yeah, the track is developing really, really much now. Obviously, Bucks is near enough on pace of the soft.
And Davi's invalidated his lap.
Oh. Yeah, you got to look out for penalties here today. Obviously, they do really stack up very easily, so that's what you got to look out for in the race here today.
Boothie is now beginning a flying lap again, and Snake has an outlap. Carlos Jackson pulls out with only 2 minutes left in the session. I think he's pretty confident in his ability to make it into Q3 here. And Retro to the top, 121.391. And now Ottaway beats him, 121.374.
Let's see what
Waldo will be the
can
next
do.
to set a time.
Yeah, he's looking pretty decent here. 121.1.
But he got a draft off of Davi there, so that really helped him significantly.
He didn't really get that much of a 16.
It wasn't like a full-on pole. It was just more of the fact that the air was already disturbed, and he just ended up taking advantage of it. It's not like he was. It didn't look like he was trying to take advantage.
No. Avery's got to hurry up. Snake's got to hurry up. Boo's got to hurry up. Swish's got to hurry up. He's got to improve his time, and so has Herbie. So these guys have got to hurry up real quick here.
Boothie is definitely hurrying up right now. He is blasting the doors off that Haas as he goes into Parabolica. Please, no accidents like what you had the first time you were out there. He's going to take a nice wide line at the apex and cut down to the inside on exit. Coming across the line to the top, 120.9 for Boothie.
Yeah, the track is really starting to dry up now. The drivers getting a real feel for the track now. Obviously, Q1 was wet, so they're going to have references to wet braking points and such. So, yeah, it's looking real good for some drivers.
Be careful because that's Books out there still on the track. I believe he has a low fuel warning. But here comes Davi coming out of that final corner. He's on the medium tower compounds. What will he set? To the top, 120.832 on mediums. And now the question is Snake. Snake is the last driver to set a time, and he's not going to make it he's not going to be able to have time to set multiple laps. He's only going to have this lap that he'll be able to set. Tino Farr across the line. Tino Farr jumps to second, 120.866. Every position is still very much in play here. Whippy is beginning an outlap, but is not going to have time. Whippy is going to run out of time. Whippy is not going to advance to Q3. He mistimed it and will run out of time.
Snake's invalidated.
And with Snake invalidating, that means Snake, by default, will not migrate into the next session. Smish and Herbie are in the middle of flying laps right now. They have a chance to jump Turbo and possibly Carlos Jackson as well to get in. Herbie needs to take about 2 seconds off of his time. Smish needs to take closer to 6 seconds off.
Yeah, obviously, Smish has improved by 5 seconds.
I think one of the Renaults has crashed at the top of the track. Yes, it is. That's Stumpy. Herbie at the line. 6, 121.379. Now the question is Smish. He's the last driver who has to try and set a time. He needs to make a massive improvement if he wants to make it in. And he does. He just makes it in. 121.611. So we will see a Ferrari into Q3.
You can't really say
Davi
that
is still
much.
on the track, but he's invalidated his lap, so it's not going to matter.
Alright, yeah.
Yeah, he's pulling into the pits anyway. And Tino Farah at the last minute. Tino Farah to the top, 120.625.
Very good lap.
Literally the very last moment.
So this is, yeah, the track is getting really good now. So we should see some drives get into the low 19s in Q3. As the track is really starting to develop now into a really nice dry track.
And for the McLarens, it's going to be a really problematic race for them. One of them completely crashed out. One of them not even making it into Q3. So rough run for the McLarens here.
Yeah, obviously Smith, he gets through. Turbo unfortunately doesn't. Yeah, so that was a very intense qualifying session.
Yeah, the drivers who will not make it into Q3 is XRL Stumpy and Karos Jackson in the McLarens, Turbo in the Ferrari, Whippy in the Red Bull, and Snake in the Mercedes. The real disappointment is coming from Snake not being able to set a single time, and Whippy just mistiming it and not making it across the line with enough time left. So that was XRL Smith in the Ferrari, XXX Books, XXX in the Mercedes, Retro in the Racing Point, Herbie in the Renault, Atui in the Alfa Romeo, find Waldo in the Racing Point, Boothby in the Haas, Davi in the Alfa Romeo, and Tino Farah in the Renault. That will make up your 9-car field for Q3. Also of note, there's only about 3 softs, I think 3, maybe 4 soft tire compounds going into the start of the race for the top 9. So a very medium-focused build seems to be the way to go right now.
Yeah, obviously starting on the mediums is going to be a massive advantage, so we could see some really interesting strategies here for the soft runners coming into Q3. Alright,
looks like we have that's Smish.
Oh, it's Smith.
Yep, Smish, but he'll be joined right immediately afterwards by Retro. Everyone's immediately trying. No waiting around. They don't want to make the mistakes they did in Q2. Everyone's trying to get out onto the track as soon as possible.
Alrighty, so we, as I said before, we should see some low 19s for these guys, yeah, so hopefully we can see maybe Retro Rixie claim that pole position, as Cargo isn't here, but we also got Davey, who's very quick here, yeah, so we will also see maybe Boozy get the 3rd spot. He hasn't had a good run in for the past week or so, the last race, should I say, sorry. But yeah,
last week there was no races. Well, I mean, there were non-points exhibition races, granted, but...
Yeah, my bad, but yeah. So Smith starting his hot lap now, gonna see what he can do, see what he can push his ability to here, and yeah, hopefully we can see some good times here.
Of note, Boothby and Tino Farah have yet to leave their pit boxes and begin their out laps.
So Smith very tidy through the first chicane, coming to the second chicane now. Does he do what I do? Does he cut the corner? Yes, he does, and he cuts the second one as well. That's a great line through there. Now is he gonna do the Les Mills right? Very nice, very nice. Oh, nice line all around. So we can see it. Maybe a really good time from Swish here.
He's got DRS open on the second straightaway. And that's one of the Renaults. That's Herbie who has gone around there at the top of the track. I don't see any damage on that car. While Smish flying down that third straightaway right now.
Yeah, it seems like a really good lap time here right now. Mercury Parabolica now. What is he going to set? Going to be a 19 summit? Oh no, it's going to be a 20. 20.5.
20.5. The car is very much built for straight line speed. He's at 214 before he brakes going into the first chicane. But yeah, you'd think with how smooth he was at the top of the track, you'd think that he would have had potentials for an even better lap.
Yeah, obviously the track the sun's not like blaring at the track, so it's not going to be optimal temperature. But yeah, I think Retro can do better than a 120.0. Could definitely break into the 19s if he really pushed, but for now he doesn't need to push until everybody else sets a lap time.
Ottawi has set the first time lower than a 120 with a 119.767, and now here comes Books in the Merc. He will also join the lower than 120 club, 119.982. Boothby is now beginning his outlap. Tino Farah has yet to leave. No, Tino Farah has now begun his outlap as well.
Yeah, I think the next guy to set a lap is Davey. Yeah, he's coming to Ascari now.
No, it's actually going to be Waldo. Waldo's going to try and improve on... No, actually, I take that back. Waldo's low on fuel, so it's probably going to go a pit. So yeah, you're right. It will probably be Davi.
Mercury Parabolica now, what is he going to set?
He'll be joined by Herbie across the lines right afterwards. 119.915. Herbie only able to set a 120.954. So Herbie needs to make a significant improvement, as does Waldo. They're both 7/10 or more out from 5th, as it is.
This seems to be like quite a tight grid. Obviously, Beavy needs to set a lap, which is a hot lap now. And so does Tino. So I'm going to
invalidated.
Oh yeah,
Boothby invalidated,
and
entering
Tino
the 3rd
hasn't. But he's on his outlap.
Tino's on an outlap.
Yeah.
So it will be a good minute and a half before we see a new time by these two put on the board. With less than 6.5 minutes remaining, a pretty significant spread between 1st and 7th. Not due to a massive gap in talent, it just seems like a lot of drivers making little mistakes trying to maximize ability, and they end up compromising their ability to set a clean lap here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I did a 19.4 in quali here. PFR. That was honestly the best lap I've ever done ever. So yeah, I think these guys can probably push it more than me, because obviously I'm in dev. So yeah, I think we could see definitely Retro Rixie can go out and do a 19. Swish, I think he could maybe improve to do a 19. Tino, he's looking pretty aggressive here in qualifying, so we could see him do a good lap time here today. And Boovy, he seems to be alright, it's just pretty inconsistent.
The two racing points are now out on the track, pretty close to each other. Waldo could potentially get a draft off of Retro. Boothby has invalidated the lap again, though. Tino Farah still has a clean lap, so he will come across the line and will be the 8th driver to set a time in Q3. His time is going to be a 120.6 flat.
Wow.
I was expecting a little bit faster, considering how powerful we know the Renault powertrain is in real life.
Yeah,
but
obviously.
All the power in the world, can't fix a bad aero and chassis program.
Yeah, so BV seems to be really struggling with track limits here. He also got a load of wheel spin out of that first chicane, so he's also struggling a bit here. Actually, he's on another outlap. He's going to try and improve on this time. Retro Rixie coming out of Parabolic and set his other hot lap here, and so is Smish as well. So we could see a change in order before the session ends.
Boothby came really close to invalidating his lap again there at the top of the track.
Oh, Retro Rixie's validated. First corner.
Oof. There's still 4 minutes left. If he's fast, he can get around and still set a lap, assuming he'll have fuel in the tank to do so. The question also is going to be what can Find Waldo do. Waldo is the only driver to have not broken into the 20 range.
Yeah, Waldo does seem to be a bit off the pace, but there could have been a few mistakes there. So we could see a really good lap from him. He's got a purple sector 1.
Yeah, he cut off almost a half second in the first sector alone. Boothie is coming into the pits.
Alright, okay. Oh, it's validated. No. That's right, that's commentator's curse.
And that means the next driver who will set a lap time will be Atui, and he's still at the top of the track. And he's already at the top right now with a 119.767. There's no one around him, really, so it's going to be all him.
Yeah, Retrorixie, he's going out for another try. So's Davey, and Atsui's obviously on a hot lap.
And Atui has invalidated his lap now.
I seriously think I'm giving commentator's curse to everyone. But yeah, and Retrorixie doesn't invalidate first corner.
Alright, Herbie is the next driver to try to improve. He's got 120.954, but he's on an outlap for the moment. So it's still going to be a while until he actually sets a time. So that means it's going to be Smish, actually, who will be the next driver to set a time. He's got 120.264. I'm curious to see if he can drag that Ferrari into a potential 119 time.
Yeah, hopefully we see him. Oh, Smith,
yes, exactly what he does.
Yeah. That puts him third, which is quite nice. But Retrorixie, he's 2 tenths up already, so we could say a stounder of a lap by him. He's nailed Scary so well. All he needs to nail now the Parabolica, and then it'll be all set for a wonderful lap time here right now. Shifting down aggressively into 4th he goes, shifts up to 5th. Really nice. Wide, then cuts in quite nicely. Goes in. What's he gonna set? A 19.5.
To the top, 119.5. His teammate Find Waldo will be one of the next drivers across the line. He's coming out of Parabolica right now. Davey goes to the top.
Wow.
What can Waldo do in the other racing point? 120.178, not a significant improvement.
Yeah,
Herbie has gotten a draft off of Tino Farah going down the second straight, and now here comes Herbie coming out of the final corner, trying to set a lap. He will also have the draft available for Tino Farah, but at the line, Herbie will not improve. Tino Farah, though, has a chance to get a good lap time if he can get a draft. I think, yeah, the two Renaults are trying to play drafting games right now with each other to significantly improve their times. And of note, Boothie, he's crossed the line. He will be able to set a lap if he does not invalidate it this time, but this is his last chance.
Yeah, he is really on the borderline here for Boothie. I know he's quick, but he does seem to be really inconsistent, so hopefully you can set a good lap here.
Retro has invalidated his next lap. He will not be able to challenge any farther for pole position. Atui and Davi are both on the final straight, but Davi has invalidated his lap. Atui has not. Atui desperately wants to get on the front row to further his championship hopes.
Yeah, so actually starting his hot like that's cutting it really short. There's only just he's not going to make it. Oh,
time's up. Over. Plow.
Made it. He just made it. That was like a millisecond. But yeah, that was very close actually, so he needs to put a good lap in to maybe get a second or first. Boothie coming out from Parabolica does a pretty alright lap. I think he just played it a little bit safe
Tino
here.
Farah improves up into the 6th position. 120.161.
So that puts him 4th.
Smish is going to pull into the pits. He will not be able to improve. So Smish gets as good as 5th. A very respectable run for the Ferrari, which has been laden with horrible, horrible runs in qualifying and race all year long.
So actually he's 1/10 up and he invalidates.
Atui has invalidated his lap. So
and
that means it's Davi.
He's 1/10 down now. So let's see
but it
what
doesn't
he
matter.
can
He's
do.
got the pole.
Yeah, he's got the pole, yeah. And he's validated
And he's
anyway.
invalidated.
Yeah.
So this is it. That's your final grid. It's Davey. I keep thinking it's Davi, but it's Davey. I need to correct that. If you're watching,
right.
Davey, I do apologize for that.
So,
to be fair, the first race that Tino Farah was here, I called Tina Farah, and kept referring to him as a female, and that was very embarrassing. It was about like halfway through a race when I realized I was doing it. But congratulations to LDT Davi. You said he was a reserve driver, didn't you?
I think he is. Yeah, he may be. I think he's a full-time dev and a reserve driver. So, I'll have a look now.
Well, the spread overall is about...
He is a reserve driver.
Well, the spread overall is about 1.3 seconds from top to bottom, but 5 of the top 6 positions all taken by Ferrari-powered cars. The 2 Alphas, a Haas of Boothie, and the Ferrari of Smish at the front. So, at least for the start of the race, Ferrari is going to have a very good representation. Mercedes, on the other hand, only 3 of their cars. Renault, only 2, and absolutely no Honda representation here at the top.
Yeah, so it's going to be a good day for Davey if he can convert it into maybe a podium or even a win. But yeah, so it's a good qualifying for Davey. It's a good showing here. We know that he's got pace, but that this just proves. And yeah, it should be a good race here today. And now we have a 5-minute break, so I'm just going to go get a drink. I'll be right back.
Going to do a little bit of standby here until we get underway for the race. It's anticipated to be a dry race with a potential threat for rain in the closing stages. We've already seen rain wreak a little bit of havoc in Q1 and not in an indirect way at Q2 as well. But still, either way, we're looking at absolutely fantastic. Or at least, if you don't think it's fantastic, you have to agree it's at least interesting look into the event. This is our full grid here from the bottom to the top. Jono in the Haas missed qualifying altogether, but he will start because he's going to have to start in the very back of the field. It looks like he's choosing to start on the soft tire compounds. XRL Patriot in the red. Hello. What's happened?
I don't think Jono's... I swear Jono was doing PC to... Oops. Wait, let me message him real quick.
Well, in 19th is XRL Patriot and the Red Bull will be starting on softs. XRL Fritz starting on the medium tire compounds in the AlphaTauri. Schold 17th on the Williams will be starting on softs. The AlphaTauri of Fratters just ahead of him will be starting on softs. Then 2 medium tire compound cars with Constant Jet in the Williams and XRL Snake in the Mercedes. 13th with XRL Whippy on the soft tire compound. We know he has a car that's faster than 13th. It'll be interesting to see if he can make his way up through the field. But the 4 cars ahead of him are all on the same tire strap for the start of the race at least. XRL Turbo in the Ferrari, Rain Sauce, Carlos Jackson, and XRL Stumpy in the McLaren. And then XRL Herbie in the Renault, who will be starting 9th. He was not able to improve significantly on his time at the very end of qualifying 3. Fine Waldo in the 8th position is going to be running on the medium tire compounds, while Tino Farah and the Renault will begin on softs. Books and Smish will both be running mediums in the Mercedes and Ferrari respectively. The Haas of Boothie will begin on softs, and the front row and third, the top 3 in fact, will all start on mediums. That will be Otwee in the Alfa Romeo, Retro in the Racing Point, and Davi in the other Alfa Romeo.
So it looks like actually Jono is meant to be racing here today. So I did get pretty mixed up there, unfortunately.
Looking very quickly at the X3 standings when it comes to the Constructors' Championship. From the bottom to the top, once again, 10th in the championship is Ferrari as they continue to be saddlebagged, however you want to say it. I'm going to say saddled with bad luck, only 13 points. Haas has 57 points, but most of them have come off the back of Boothie. Then you have Renault they have 73 points. Williams is 76, so significantly better here than what they have in real life. The Aston Martin Red Bull team, 97 points. Fifth on the sheets is 101 for the AlphaTauri Honda teams. McLaren's F1 has 136. The BTW Racing Point has 204 points. They're 36 off of Mercedes with 240, and the Alfa Romeo is at the top right now. Mercedes had a significant dominance early on, but between driver changes and just the general class and overall, Mercedes' fortune in the team championship has fallen away from them. Looking at the drivers' championship, Constant Jet, Boothby, Tino Farah, and Herbie all have yet to score points in the series. So I take it back when I said Boothby made most of the points for Haas. I was thinking of who's the other person that runs the Haas that would run the Haas all the time earlier in the year? He was like super crazy in qualifying. I'll remember it later. I know I will. But the first two drivers who have points is Stumpy and Fratters, both with 4 each. Smish has 5 points in the Ferrari, and Patriot has 6 in the Red Bull. XRL Turbo has 11 points. Books has 17 points, while Whippy has 18 points. Whippy has really begun turning his fortunes around the midpoint of the season. Schold is 9th on the board with 33 points, one off of Carlos Jackson in the McLaren, who is also one off of Fine Waldo, and Waldo himself is 4 points off of 6 on the point sheet. Fritz. Then WCD Hubert, that's what it was, Hubert. Hubert is the driver who has given Haas most of their points. He is 5th on the point sheets with 42 points, but he is not here for today's race. 4th is XRL Snake with 74 points. Ottawi is 3rd with 75. Retro XC has 110 points, and he is just 9 points off from XRL Cargo. Ottawi, as we were saying earlier, he's still technically a championship contender. He really needs to start making things happen if he wants to compete for that championship. Otherwise, it's going to be between his teammate Cargo and the Racing Point of Retro for the title.
Alrighty, I am back. Hello?
Yep. No, we're here. I just got done running through the points real quickly before we got underway here.
Alright, okay, that's always a good idea.
Hopefully we don't have as chaotic of a race as we did when Dev did their points paying race here. That was one of the weirdest things I think I've ever seen.
Alright, so we're going in a minute here. All the drivers going to be putting the mental paces. I mean, mental. I don't know. I'm just going to shut up.
I mean, the drivers will be put through their paces one way or another. Also, of note, I had this information shared with me a little bit earlier. I might as well share it before we get too far underway in today's event. Real quickly here. Let me get back. When it comes to tire life, tires will be 27 laps on the mediums or 17 laps on the softs. Hards are very hard, and drivers are anticipating they would last the entire race today if they were to swap to them early in the event. Although I don't know what the advantage would be to go soft to hard, because this is pretty much looking like a one-stop race. Doesn't matter how you spin it. Unless, obviously, you get involved in accidents.
Yeah, I made the horrible decision to go on hard at PFR. There was a safety car. I had big damage. It was about, 10 laps in. And I went on hards, and they do not feel good on here. So I won't expect drivers to go on hards. Alright, so we are ready up now. Ready to get racy. Oh, yeah. Alright.
Oh, yeah!
Oh, yeah. We should do that for the whole race, commentate like that. And he goes down the inside.
And now the cream will rise to the top.
Alright. Alright, here we go. 5 lights.
As we lights out and away we go here at Monza.
Yeah, this is going to be very, very weird. And they've already got a massive advantage, and is it gonna be a punterino? Yeah!
There's a lot of punts. One of the Williams are forced off the track completely. Here we are, but it looks like nothing too significant happened there. Everyone seems to have gotten through without too much of an accident. But at the front, it is Davey and Atui with Retro slipping off of the front row down to the 3rd position and being put under threat from XRL Smish.
Yeah, XRL Smish seems to be very quick around here. Obviously, we don't know in. And Fritz is gone, Fritz is gone, Fritz is gone. Oh, he spun it.
There's no damage to that car yet, though. So there's still a chance if something happens up front, he might be able to catch up and make moves in the field.
Yeah, there's a lot of battling going on.
Tino Farah goes around. Tino Farah made a dive bomb on Boothie and ended up going around. Ooh, spun it right in front of several other cars. No one else hit him, though. But that got really, really tight, really, really fast.
Yeah, so obviously there's a bit of a gap now between. Oh, and that's again. So there's a gap.
And Retro has caught Atui.
And Hervey, he has got Pascal Jackson on the side by side. Obviously, no DRS unable to until lap 3. And Hervey gets through into 9. 9 for Pascal Jackson. Now he's going to go down the inside. No, he isn't. Hervey sails ahead.
Atui and Retro were neck and neck going into turn 1, but Retro is caught on the outside and could not compare with the Alfa Romeo's ability to put the power down. And once again, Smish is putting pressure on Retro. Now Smish is going to make a dive bomb to the inside, side by side, neck and neck, and Retro gets turned. Retro goes around and gets up one of the Mercedes in the process.
That is not whatsoever. That is going to really hurt Retro Richie's race. And we've already got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings here. This is not good. But I just want to say something. Frada's up 10 positions. 10. And there's only been 2 laps. That is absolutely crazy.
And that was without DRS as well, and but he's going to lose one of those to Herbie, as Herbie gets a much better run. Just ahead, the battle is beginning to develop between Boothie and Waldo, and I believe DRS is going to activate very shortly here. We could be looking at some really fast DRS trains here.
Yeah, obviously DRS is enabled now after 3 laps, so on the next DRS straight, it will be activated, so Sector 2 now. And there's a fight between Waldo and Boothie. Boothie gets through, or defends the position, should I say. Smish, he is now in 3rd. This is the highest he's ever been in a league race, I would think. He's going to want that 2nd, obviously, but he needs to just keep it calm, serve his tyres, and not do it too aggressive. And keep it consistent, and it looks to be alright. But the midfield is still very, very tight still. It's
Ferrari engines make up the top 4 right now. So yeah, absolute Ferrari dominance at their home turf today.
Yeah, Frada is going to be looking at Waldo. He's too far back now. Obviously people have DRS, and oh my god, Waldo descended into
the Mercedes are fighting with the other Ferrari back there for the points-paying positions. That's Snake, Herbo, and Books all going at it.
Somebody's gone. That's going to be a safety car.
Yeah, without a doubt. That you can't just get away. That car is completely destroyed, and we have a virtual safety car.
Yeah. That was a massive crash there. And it looks like people are pitting now, actually, as it is technically a free pit stop.
The drivers pitting, Carlos Jackson and Books, are going to go ahead, jump into the pits, and they're jumping onto soft tire compounds by the looks of it in the Mercedes camp for Books, and they're also repairing front wing damage for Carlos Jackson. They're going to be keeping him on medium tires for now.
So it looks like Retroricty's going back some places. He's in 10th now, but he really, really needs to push on those mediums to basically get the advantage of them, really, because you want to keep in close contact with these soft runners as those tyres. Obviously, you're gonna. Ooh, Books has got a drive through, and the Snaky got a little bit squirrely on the safety car restart.
We have a four-car train of DRS as formed from 4th to 7th. Waldo, Boothie, Fratters, Herbie. That's every single engine in the field represented in that battle.
Yeah, this is going to be a really good fight here. I know Fratters, he's not usually that quick, but he seems to be really on the pace here today. So, could we see maybe a top 5 finish from him? I'd like to hope so.
I think it's way too early to say right now. Just this track in general, in my experience here, has always been very, very chaotic. Also of note, Dono, who started 20th, he's already worked his way up to 12th, and is getting to put pressure on Schold, but also is having pressure put on him as well from Tino Farah. But yeah, all the Ferrari-powered cars seem to be doing very well. Dono is the only one who's not in a points-paying position right now, and that's only because he started dead last.
Yeah, Jono, he is very good in F1, and he also does multiple other things like iRacing and ACC, and Kellis Jackson now has got 5 seconds speeding in the pit lane. But yeah, it amazes me that Jono can let you go. I think he did a 24-hour Nürburgring Nordschleife race in a GT3 Merc, and he literally, after he did that, he hopped on F1 straight away. So, you know, this man, he's got absolutely a lot of talent in every single game, and he's dropped back a few places here, but that's not too bad, as he's now got DRS and Tino Farah releases stream as well for the main pit straight. Snake
Waldo,
down penalty for multiple warnings as well.
Waldo is leading the charge for both his team and the Mercedes power in general. They have caught Smish, and in process, they're all catching Atui slowly.
Yeah, so Jono's just got past Tino Farah. That was a great, easy textbook move there. Just a little inside line through till Parabolica. The fight now really is Smish, Atui, and Fine Waldo. I am really surprised how quick Smish has catch up to Atui, but it seems to be like maybe Smish is running a little bit lower wings than he is. He's really low on ERS as well, so he really needs to conserve it. Otherwise he'll run out, and yeah, you don't really want that in an F1 race.
Brooks has set the fastest lap time thus far, but he's back here in the 15th positions with penalties as well. Also of note, Boothie has a time penalty, as does Retro and Snake, so their ability to move up through the field is going to be pretty significantly hampered.
Yeah, Smish really needs to start using his ERS. He's now on 12%. You know, at Monza, you really don't want it past 20. And he's using it again. He's gonna use all of his ERS now. That's gonna really hamper him, but he's gonna try and go for the move for second place, and he doesn't dive on him just yet. And that is Schold's out, and that is a safety car. That is gonna bring.
He's not the only one. Tino Farah got caught in it as well. Tino Farah couldn't avoid the wreckage and destroyed his car off of Schold.
No.
And it looks like a similar scenario like what we had happen in qualifying. Coming onto that third straightaway is absolutely chaotic.
Yeah, Ascari is going to be the main place for DNF. But this is going to really help these soft runners now, as you can maybe hop onto the hards if they really feel like they want to, or even hop onto the mediums and try and go to the end on them. But this is a great time for safe has come out for the soft runners here. Fradders drive-through speeding under the safety car. Naughty.
Safety car just very awkwardly parked there, and the entrance of turn 3 right now.
Waiting for the leader.
Yeah, it's gonna be we're gonna be under this yellow flag for a little while. This track doesn't feel very long, and we see Fritz in the pits right now jumping onto the hards, like you said, Ozda. This track doesn't feel very long when you're actually racing on it, but when you're actually, have to go around at reduced speed, it feels like it's forever to get around here. And Jono now has a 3-second time penalty for track violations.
And it looks like Absolute Smish.
Davi is pitting,
so is
Absolute
Davey
Smish
as well.
is pitting, Waldo is pitting, Boofy is pitting, Fratters is pitting,
Everybody's
Herbie is
pitting.
pitting. Is Snake gonna pit? No, Snake is staying out.
He's gonna stay out.
Yono is staying out as well. Turbo will be the next driver, but I think Turbo is not going to be able to advance beyond 10 because he's just too far behind our current race leaders.
You know what? I think some of these guys on the hards is not going to be a good decision. Just for the fact that I raced the hards and it might have been just my setup, but they felt horrible. Like, really, really bad. So, we'll see how it goes, but
yeah, Ottawi, Smish, and Waldo are all going to have very interesting runs. There's no doubt the hards can make it. The hards are expected to be able to go from here to the end of the race without too much of an issue. And that would mean that Waldo and Smish would pretty much by default eventually inherit the lead. I can't see Davi making it to the end on those softs, and Yono and Snake are going to have to pit at some point.
yeah, they're also going to have to pit at some point. But they are in a position if they can pull a gap, maybe Davey, Waldo, or some of the other people, then we could see them maybe taking some high points paying positions here. But they really do need to get a gap if they want to have a chance of making a free pit stop.
Careless Jackson, one of the drivers, trying to rush around the track as fast as he can to get the back of the field. Fritz is another one. Fritz is about half a lap down. I'm not sure if we're going to go green this lap. If we do, Fritz would be in a very precarious position. But if they stay under yellow for one more, Fritz will have a shot at redemption. He'll be 17th on the hard tire compound and basically caught up to the back of the field.
Yeah, sorry, I just had a blank mind. Yeah, it's going to set up for another lap, so hopefully Fritz can catch up. But if he can't, then it's going to be really, really horrible for him. I know, I feel his pain. He just wants a nice race. Yeah, it doesn't seem he's catching up anytime soon.
I'm going to be really interested in how this race is going to develop because Ottawi is going to be trapped behind Fratters. We know that Ottawi has a good car, but he's going to be on hards while Fratters will be on softs. Fratters is going to be taking a fight directly to Smish, and Waldo is going to be basically the leader once Snake, Yono, and Davi all decide to go ahead and pit. So while the Ferrari cars are definitely stronger, it looks like, because due to fluky race results and strategy, we might see Find Waldo, not the racing point we're used to seeing up front, but we might see Find Waldo in a serious contention for a race win here.
Yeah, he seems to be quick. While seeing those hard tires, depending on the setup, are going to react differently. Yeah, we could see him get a race win here today, but I don't really want to see that early in the race.
I'm just saying it's a hypothetical. All it would take is a yellow flag or him getting held up by the 3 cars ahead of him, and it would keep Waldo from being able to win. But I'm saying it's definitely within the realm of possibility now. Also, credit to Fritz. Fritz is now pretty much caught the back of the field. So we should
be going green. Yeah, should be going green. Yep, yeah.
There it is.
They've got in this lap. So Snake needs to back the pack up. He's done this a couple of times, so he's not a total noob to it. He's going to start weaving now to get temperature into those tyres. Doesn't want to weave too
3-second
much,
time
so
penalty
take
again.
activation. Wow.
Also of note, XRL Yono, in less than 10 laps, ran a little strategy played into it. He's gone from 20th to 2nd.
Wow. That is amazing.
Well, coming down to the green flag here. Let's see what we got this time.
Alright, we go racing again here. And Jono is right on the back of Snake. Snake didn't have a real good restart here. I think he was running pretty good. And Davey, he's in the background as well. But Jono, he goes from 20th to 1st. That is an amazing drive here today.
Oh, and that's Snake! Snake got into the grass and came right across the track, and now he's losing time rapidly. Everyone's trying to get by him. There's just barely enough room. He is holding up. He is like a moving chicane, and their leader has crashed and with the racing points as well. And now there's chaos everywhere. The entire field has just imploded on itself, and there's another one. Bookie is out. Patriot is out as well.
Oh my god.
And
that has got
Books.
to be another safety car.
Oh, wow. There was so much that happened there. It all started when our race leader, Snake, got sideways on the grass coming out of the chicane, and it slowed up the entire field, and then the race leader turned around and wrecked right into the outside wall. Then we saw at least 3 other cars take significant damage as well.
That was bonkers.
It reminds me of when we did IndyCar here in Forza, doesn't it?
Or that's Spa. What was it, like 1990 something? 1996?
98? Are you thinking when they all wrecked in the wet? Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah.
Smish is jumping into the pits now under this. I'm not sure what the plan is there. I don't know if he took damage in that. I didn't see any damage. Yes,
he will want to get off. Yeah.
No, he's trying to serve a penalty, I think.
Well.
Yeah, he was serving a penalty and jumping onto medium tire compounds, but now Smish is dropped. And despite being the fastest cars in the field, all of a sudden, the highest...
The 2 Alfa Romeos are double stacking. This is going to hold Davey up massively. Yeah, this is how Davey up massively.
So every single Ferrari-powered car has been basically eliminated from the top 6, despite, without a doubt, being the fastest cars in the field.
So, yeah, Fine Waldo in first on the hard tyre.
And Fine Waldo now has a 5-second penalty for an impact with Fradders, apparently, under the safety car.
So, Fradders has a drive-through. I'll run down the penalties now. Fine Waldo 5 seconds, Fradders drive-through, Rector 6 seconds, Bucks 3 seconds, XO Junno 3 seconds, XO Snake 3 seconds, Atsui 5 seconds, Careless Jackson 8 seconds.
This is absolutely out of control. But with Fine Waldo only having that penalty, I don't think it's going to hurt him too much because all the drivers behind him, I don't think they can make it to the end on those softs. Waldo can stick on those hards. If they can stay under a green flag for the rest of this race, Waldo's going to win this race pretty much by default. Unless Smish is able to make up a lot of time on those mediums. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying it would be amazing if he could do it. I've been secretly cheering for the Ferraris all year long. They've really struggled this year. If Smish could do it, it would be absolutely amazing, but I don't know how confident I feel.
Yeah, it looks like Bucks is pitting. He wants to get rid of those softs. Going to the mediums. So Myers constant. Trying to overtake Jono in the safety car. Anyway, yeah, so Jono now up to 6. If he can get even a point finish, he would be absolutely delighted with starting 20th. So, yeah, we've had 5 DNFs now. 5. That is.
That's what we call a horrible, no good, very bad, dirty, rotten season.
Yeah, I think last season we had like 4 cars DNF. Which was quite bad. Because I was on comms for it with a guy called Atlanta Racing. If you're watching this and you're from X3 last season, you'll remember him. He was a very good commentator. He had stream overlays, but he had work, so he can't do it. Anyway, right, so, here we're waiting for Davey. Now he's at the back of the grid. He also got held up by Atsui. Atsui had a 5-second to serve. And then Davey had a 5-second again, but they also double stacked as well, which wasn't very good. But Jono weaving vigorously to try and get those hards heated up. Yeah, so we could see Herbie get a really good finish here today.
Yeah, Smish and Herbie on the mediums. There's about 16 laps, 16 laps to go, so potentially Smish and Herbie could make it to the end without pitting again.
Yeah, this is going to be spicy, to say the least. So yeah, hopefully, look at all them cars weaving in synchronized order.
I'm going to be riding on board with Retro at the initial start here because Fratters and Retro both have softs compared to Waldo on the hards. I'll be curious to see what these Hondas do when they come to the green flag.
Alright, here we go now.
Nothing in the top 3 positions. Herbie is trying to make something happen on Smish, but can't make it happen. Yono really has a bad run going through the first few corners, though, and he's going to drop all the way to 9th.
Yeah, not very good start for Yono there, but he's gone too wide to Snake. Now his old teammate in the Renault.
Oh, and there goes one of the Mercs. He got lucky that no one ended up hitting him as he was merging back onto the track there. But once again, now the Mercs are in the last 2 positions on track, and now Smish is in 4th. This is his chance. He needs to keep Fratters and Retro really close to him so he knows he can try to run down Waldo.
That's careless. He's gone. These hards starting to not feel.
And Waldo now has a time penalty for track violations again.
Yeah, Waldo needs to really watch out for that. But yeah, I was looking at the penalties again. Already to go past Fratters into 2nd. If Fratters gets a podium, it would mean a world to him. He had a horrible season last season. Didn't get hardly any points finishes. And Fratters is in the pits. He's got a serve back drive through right now. That's going to really hurt him about the point positions. But Waldo, he has 8 seconds. Retro has 6. Constant has 3. Smish has none. So if he stays in 8 seconds of Waldo, he will get the win by default.
He's got the medium tire compounds. They're going to be faster, but the question is, will they be faster than the hards throughout the rest of this event?
Yeah, they probably will. The hards are really, well, obviously really hard to battle around it. But it depends if Smish can put the pace on them to see if he can actually pull it off. I hope he can. It'll be definitely delighted in 3rd, but then he'll pick himself because he could have got 2nd or even a win of his first league race.
Meanwhile, farther back, fighting for the bottom of the points, is putting the pressure on the other Ferrari in the field. That's Turbo. We've seen these 2 fight several times before. Normally with Books being the one holding off Turbo later in the race, but this could get very interesting. And then right ahead of them, they have Whippy, who has worked his way back into the points paying position. He's 9th after being involved in that massive accident earlier. Retro Rixie has gone by Waldo.
Yeah.
But it's not going to matter too much. Unless Retro can open up a massive gap, Retro has no choice. He's going to have to pit again. Those softs are not lasting to the end of the race.
Yeah, they definitely aren't. Or if they do, they're going to be really degraded at the end of the race. So we could see some switch around doing some pit stops as well. Those really struggling on those hards. A Smish does do a little bit of a slide there, but he's gaining on Waldo right now. So we could see him in 2nd, and if you say 6 seconds in Retro Rixie's area or interval, then we could see Smish get the win here today.
Davi has made his way back up to 8th with his other Alfa Romeo teammate. And right now, the field seems to be relatively spread out, or beginning to spread out at least. There's a lot of stalking battles, like Oddly stalking Herbie right now. Actually, no, it's not a stalking battle. That's going to be a full-on battle. Here it comes Oddly to the inside of Herbie. He pulls out of it, though.
Yeah, it's not a very good idea to go too wide through a Scary. But I've had people overtake me through there, and then it is fixed, so yeah, you know, obviously isn't the best idea to do it, but you can make it work, and yeah, just say you can make it work.
Smish has DRS, and he's caught Waldo. This will probably be a battle for the lead once Retro finally does jump off the soft tire compounds.
Yeah, Smish doesn't actually really need to get past Waldo. but he also needs to get in the range of Retro Rixie to get the win.
Well, Retro has to pit though. There's no way Retro's gonna make those softs last another 11 laps. Not when he already has 8 laps on them.
Yeah, that is true.
But here's the thing, if I was in Smish's position, I'd want to get by Waldo as fast as I can. Even if it wasn't for pride or anything, running right in the draft of another car is really going to tear up the longevity of those tires. But here he is, he's making his move now.
Yeah, so that was a pretty easy move, DRS assisted.
The next car that Smish will have to worry about, other than Waldo obviously, will be Constant Jet. But Jet is in his own little battle with Fritz a little bit farther back. Fritz on the same tire life as Smish right now. A little bit farther back, Herbie and Ottawi continue their battle, and now Davi is getting up into it. Davi is going to get by his teammate Ottawi, but coming through Parabolica, they're all going to have DRS on Herbie ahead of them. This will get very interesting very quickly.
Yeah, so we see like Fritz is actually gaining on Constant Jet. He's going to make the move in turn 1. He isn't just yet. He's going to have to wait a little bit longer. But John seems to drop at the top out the points positions. He's actually fighting with Turbo, but he seems can't get past as those hard tyres are. Seeming to be a little bit challenging here today. Well, we have a massive battle here between
And that's Davi! Davi gets knocked off the track by Herbie, and now Davi has significant front wing damage. That front wing's just about totally come off. In fact, I think it has totally come off. Yeah, there's no front wing. Herbie twished coming out of the third turn and twished right into Davi, and Davi shot off the track and smacked that outside wall. He's not going to be able to continue like that. Davi is going to have no choice. He's going to have to pit to repair the damage.
You know, that is a coincidence. That Herbie's been in at turn 3.
NASA's virtual safety car as well.
Yeah, so... Did you get that on stream?
Yeah, I was watching it as it happened.
Oh, Snake's got a drive-through. That's going to put even more. Oh, no. Well, this has not been a good race for him at all.
Retro is making his pit now. So that means that Smish and the Ferraris have struggled all year against to earn points, but now, not saying it's going to happen, but they are fighting for a potential win right now.
Yeah, and it seems like Retro Rixie's pitting to maybe...
And we're back into racing here.
Yeah, Retro's pitting to get the fastest lap outside top 10. He's put on the softs. But Smish, he's in third. This is going to be, if he can convert it into a win, if he doesn't get any more penalties, and if he doesn't bin it, this will be his first ever league race win.
And in the Ferrari at Monza as well. That in itself has got to be huge.
Yeah, he's gonna be ecstatic with himself. So he's got to keep it cool now. Yeah. Keep it cool for another 9 laps, and yeah, he's gonna be absolutely buzzing with himself.
And Constant Jet!
Constant Jet!
Constant Jet wrecked the car now. And that's another, and that's a full-on safety car.
Right now, Smish needs to jump on softs right now.
But if Smish jumps on softs, though, here's the thing, if Smish and Waldo, because here's the thing, everyone in the top 4, if they stayed out, they would be, by virtue, yeah, I don't see any way that the leaders would be able to jump into the pits and then come out and be able to get back into the front. I'm not gonna lie, I think if you're
stay now.
Yeah, I think you have to stay out right now.
Really
There's just not enough time to move up to the field. Snake, another 3-second time penalty. Whippy is pitting, but he was on softs, and he's probably going to jump onto another set of softs.
Probably, yeah. We'll see, you know, could probably do the fast stuff outside the top 10. As Curtis Jackson's coming in as well, but Retro Rixie seems to stay out. This is a great time for Retro Rixie. He's just pitted. Safety has come out so he could climb a few places now. Geno, obviously on the hards, so that'll be an easier overtake with the tyre difference. But yeah, this is a great time for Retro Rixie here.
Curtis Jackson, he's in the pits. Davi, he's still on softs. He had to swap the softs after getting involved in that incident with Herbie. And then Snake, obviously, he's almost a half. Actually, he is about 2/3 of a lap down. And now Ottawi has a 5-second penalty for a collision with Herbie as well.
Yeah, that's going to really affect him. No, see, you need to save a 5-second in the pit stop. If you don't, then you'll get increased to 10 seconds. I think the game does that, I'm not too sure. But yeah.
For Waldo, it's all going to come down to this. He messed up on the initial restart and gradually lost the lead. First to his teammate, then to Smith. Waldo has to be right on top of it if he wants a serious shot at this win here. He's got the hard tires. He can make it to the end. He's guaranteed that whatever pace he sets is the pace he'll be able to set to the end of this race. That's not quite the way it is for Smith. Smith is going to be very iffy if his tires will still be holding up in the last 2 laps. They're not going to die completely, but he's not going to be same pace. So if Waldo can just stay there in DRS rate to Smith, he'll have a chance. It's all going to come down to that. And then for Fritz, Fritz is in a similar position. Fritz has tire wear comparable to Smish, but he's going to have to get by Waldo in another Honda and find a way by Smish as well.
I just want to say that Fritz from the back of the field, nearly being lapped to 3rd. That is amazing recovery drive from him. Yeah, so we could see Fine Waldo maybe get the win, but he needs to increase the gap by 8 seconds. So I don't think that will happen. 7 laps to go here now. We're waiting for Snake to catch up. He will definitely not.
Rain! It's raining! It's starting to rain!
Raining! Uh-oh.
So now the question is, do you jump onto the intermediates?
No.
It's not wet yet. The track's not wet yet, but it's going to get wet in like 2 or 3 races. I'm seeing sprinkles beginning to fall on some of the camera lenses.
Yeah, it's definitely raining now. But will it get really bad that they'll have to jump on intermediates though? That is the question before the race ends. We'll have to find out, I guess. Only time will tell.
Yeah, that's the thing. You will lose a lot of time in the pits just swapping tires. And with everyone gathered up like this, it's going to be really hard. Because if you jump onto intermediate tires, you're giving yourself a higher guarantee of finishing the race and picking up points. Before our top 3 drivers, they're fighting for a potential win. It's going to be really, really difficult for these 3.
Yeah. Obviously, if Fritz stays within 8 seconds of Fine Waldo, you'll get the P2 anyway. But yeah, this is going to make the race dynamically different here. I totally forgot about the rain until it came, so that rhymed actually. That was quite nice. But yeah, this is going to make the race very, very, very interesting.
Snake catches the back of the field at the last possible minute, so we will go green with 7 laps to go here at Monza as the track is beginning.
Smish, look at that!
Absolutely outstanding by Smish. Fritz as well. Look at Fritz. No holding back against Fine Waldo. He's going to immediately put himself in front of Waldo here. And now the question is for Otsui, who is one of your championship contenders. He needs to open up as much of a gap as he can over Retro in the points, and Herbie gets a little bit sideways. Now he's under threat from Books. Remember that Books is now going to overtake Herbie, move Books up into the 5th position.
I think Davey is dropping back quite a bit now. He's obviously struggling. He's not doing damage again, see?
That doesn't look like he has wing damage. And oddly, another time penalty.
Oh, and that is Jono. Final hitting Jono, shall I say.
Fratter's taking significant damage. He's knocked off the circuit.
Yeah, there's a massive 5-car battle here. Davies lost a bit of wing.
And there goes Jackson! And Books! Books is out of it! Books has gotten involved in an accident, and he has gotten taken out with Ottaway, and they're right in the middle of the track as well! And the entire field just barely misses them! Well, there are only 2. Ottaway's knocked out! Ottaway, one of our championship contenders, he was not able to avoid the damage from car of Books. He is out of the race, and we are back under a yellow flag in that section, but we're green beyond that.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be no safe drop now, just because it's just so close to the end of the race here now. But the rain's really starting to fall now, so we could see people.
Waldo is pitting. Waldo is going to be one of the first drivers to jump onto the intermediates. He may have a chance to get back into the points. Herbie has worked his way up to third despite being involved in a bunch of incidents. And for Fritz and Smish, this is their Herbie, 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. I must take back what I said then. But yeah, for Fritz and Smish, if they're just careful, they can win. One of those two drivers will win the race as long as they don't wreck their cars under wetting conditions.
Uh-oh, who is that? I think it's Jono. Yeah, I think Jono had a bit of a moment there. But yeah, it is really starting to rain now. So we could see, it's intermediate time. It is.
Whippy is now moved up to fourth as he has gotten by Retro. As Retro is backing off now. Whippy up to fourth, but again, everyone in the top 9 is going to be extremely difficult for them. They're all on dry tire compounds, and the track is getting wet. It's going to be several laps until it's full. This race could just turn in Waldo's favor. He's 32 seconds out, but I don't know. It's going to be really close. I'm literally on the edge of my seat here because there are so many possibilities that all depend on if the top 3 drivers can or cannot keep the cars under control. Whippy is now up in the 3rd position.
Yeah, so now
Fritz is pitting.
Are pitting for intermediate.
Yeah, Fritz and Smish are pitting.
So's Heavy. So Whippy now goes into the lead with Snake in 2nd, but can they keep the cars under control and not lose as much time as Whippy now cuts the corner?
Whippy, 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. So that's going to take him out. He's in the grass now.
Yeah.
So that's it. I think that means that this race is now going to go into the hands of Find Waldo. No! Smish is still ahead of Find Waldo. So the same 2 drivers who were fighting earlier, they're going to be the ones who will fight to the end here. But now it's a wet track.
Yeah, it's also going to change the dynamic of everything because these guys have been racing 20 laps on dry conditions, so there are no dry lines, there are no dry braking zones. Excuse me. But it's going to take some time for these to get used to it in the intermediate track here. So, yeah, it's going to be very difficult, and I think Snake and Whippy are going to have to pit sometime soon.
Whippy has that 10-second time penalty for cutting the first corner after the car locked up under braking, and then you have Snake, who also has a time-second penalty. I don't know what his penalty is. Let me bring that up real quickly. Detail penalty. Yeah, Snake has a 6-second penalty, and he's only about 6 seconds out. That's from Smish. So yeah, right now, Smish is going to be the winner. He has no time penalty, while Waldo has a 3-second time penalty right now. So right now, it's still looking like Smish is going to win this race. Or Waldo. It's going to be one of those 2.
Yeah, it looks like Smish is in really high odds to win this race. Whippy is pitting, and Snake is definitely going to be as well. So Smish into the lead now. He has never won an XRL league race. X3 is going to be the one that he's going to want to win, and he is now in 1st. We have now 3 laps to go now.
It's 4. 24, 25, 26, 27. It's 4 laps.
Oh, 4 laps then, should I say? No, wait. I thought 4 would be...
No, you
28.
have to count the lap you're on right now.
Ah, right, yes, right. 4 laps until he has claimed the XRL Italian winner. And if he doesn't
There's a fight going on for 3rd between Retro and Fritz right now.
Fritz seems to be backing up a little bit. Doesn't want to spin the rears of the tyres, and Retro Richie seems to be better pace in the wet. So, this could be very crucial for Racing Point constructors here, as you know, both Racing Points are 3rd and 2nd. So we could see a massive points haul for Racing Point here.
We're going to see a massive points haul for the Ferrari team by the looks of it. Also, Turbo is fighting with Davi for the 5th position. We've seen both Ferrari score points before, but normally down in like the 8th to 9th, 10th positions. We're looking at a potential 1st and 5th. That would be huge. And at the Scuderia home track, like, I cannot express enough like how big this could be if these drivers can pull it off. Fratters now has a 3-second time penalty for multiple track violations.
This is going to be really, really good for Smish here. It's going to be a massive boost. Like, you know, he can win. It's just, you know, he's got to keep it together, keep it cool. and keep it consistent, which he has done all race, really. So, if he wins this, it'll be a massive ego boost for him.
Davi on the outside of Turbo, going into turn 1 here. And Davi has to pull out of it. He actually jumps the curbing just a little bit. Now he's into the dirt, and he's going to lose that position to Careless Jackson. And now Herbie is going to be one fine. Herbie is going to come up side by side with Davi. He's on the outside, though. He's going to... They're both off! And both Herbie and Davi end up making contact and are going to damage their cars significantly here.
That is a second incident now.
That's like 3 incidents with Herbie now alone, and that's a yellow flag in all of Sector 1. Davi has finally gained underway, but now Davi is back out of the points main position, as is Herbie. Yono is now back into the points main positions.
Did you get that one in stream as well?
Oh yeah, I was watching that as it happened.
Right, okay, thanks. Yeah, that is massive unlock for Davey. Doesn't seem to actually have that bad wing damage. He only has the end plate missing, so he can keep going. But I think Herbie doesn't have a wing at all, does he?
He still has part of the wing. He still has part of the wing.
Yeah, he's lost half of his wing, so he's definitely going to have to pit. But Fine Mordor seems to be closing in on Smish here. But Smish is keeping it cool. 2 laps.
Yeah, it's 2 laps to go. Lap 26, 27.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah, 2 laps to go here. And Smish looking good. Keep it calm and you'll be alright.
Yono, Snake, and Fratters are in a battle for the final points main positions as well right now. Coming down to it, across the line, 2 to go now for these 3. The gap between first and second is now only 1.6 seconds. Fratters, 3-second time penalty for corner cutting now.
Yeah, so I'm going to have a look at penalties right now. Fine Wardow's got 3 seconds now. Retroity's got 11. Fritz has got none. Turbo's got 3. Chaos got 3. Whippy's got 10. Also, we have that corner cut because the car wouldn't stop. Fratters has got 14. Snake has got 9. Jono's got 6. And Herbie's got 13.
The gap between first and second is now down to 1.5 seconds, but Waldo has those 3-second time penalty, but Smish is losing time. My fear will be that Waldo will get up to Smish and will try and pressure Smish into making a massive mistake. That would be the concern I would have right now. Coming to the white flag, the Scuderia Ferrari of XRL Smish is coming across. He just has to lead 1 more lap, and it would be not only probably the biggest win in his entire XRL career, but probably one of the most impressive wins we would see all season long here in X3. If it can happen.
He's had an amazing drive. He has had an absolutely outstanding drive. One of his best drives ever I've ever seen.
Also a vote for Smish. No time penalties this late in the race. The only other drivers in that similar position, Davi and Fritz.
Yeah, he's just kept it clean. He's kept it nice.
Herbie, 3-second time penalty.
I'm gonna be Max Verstappen here. He's kept it absolutely lovely. So yeah, it's been an amazing drive of him today. Absolutely outstanding. Coming through the final sector 2 that he's ever gonna do here in this season, and the first time he is gonna win here. He is really close to Waldo, but Waldo's not gonna get him because he's got the 3-second. Coming through Ascari now for the last time.
The gap is down to 1.3 seconds, but he doesn't care about that. He just needs to keep the car on track. One last corner.
One last corner here. Coming through Parabolica. He's been out a great drive all race. And XRL Smish wins in
coming across the line,
Grand Prix.
And the Scuderia Ferrari have every reason to celebrate. Fine Waldo is going to come home second. Retro is going to cross the line third, but Retro has another 5-second penalty as well for unstart, so we're going to see Retro drop a lot of spots. Fritz now moves up into third position.
He gets the podium. Another podium here. Back-to-back podiums is going to be absolutely buzzing with that. And I'm gonna have to get Smith into this party right now. I just want to see his reaction. I need to invite him quick.
Careless Jackson gets 5th.
Crazy.
Turbo in the other Ferrari gets his respectable points haul as well in 6th. Whippy recovers from multiple incidents and penalties to get 7th. Davi ends up 8th despite the accidents he was involved in. Jono started 20th, led laps and takes home points. He'll be 9th. Snake rounds out the points paying positions in 10th.
Yes, Smith! Yes!
You did it!
Yes!
Yes! For the Ferrari at Monza!
Yes! Come on, lad!
Yes!
Alright, calm down a minute. Include your audio, mate. We need to do a good interview here.
Smish, absolutely incredible job. It wasn't just a fluke either. You qualified in the top 5 and were in the front all day long. How did you pull that out with all the chaos going on all day long?
Just had the right setup for the track and obviously loads of practice and just hard work, and we finally got up there.
Yeah, got up there indeed. Also, you were one of only 3 drivers in the end to complete the race with no time penalties whatsoever. Not only was it a strong performance, it was a clean performance.
Yeah, indeed it was.
That was probably one of your best drives I've ever seen you drive, ever. Like, that, oh my god, I'm so happy for you. Get in
Cheers,
there,
buddy.
lad. Get
Cheers.
in there.
Thank you ever so much.
Well done, man. Enjoy that champagne, and I'll speak to you later.
Enjoy the massive haul of points also.
Cheers, bud. Thank you. Further up the leaderboard we go. Thank God. Points to the team. And
See you later,
just want a big
Smith.
shout out and well done, Turbo. Up the Ferrari.
Oh yeah, he Turbo got 6 as well.
Up the
Yeah.
Ferrari. See you later, boys. Thank you very much.
See you later. Bye.
Yes, Ferrari overall ends up with a relatively strong showing in race pace, and 4 of the Ferraris end up taking home points, with Davi in the Ferrari-powered car coming home 8th, and Jono in the Ferrari-powered car also coming home 9th. They're running Alfa Romeo and Haas, respectively. The only 2 Alfa Romeos to not earn points, that would be Alfa Romeo of Atui and of Boothie in the Haas. Those cars ended up DNFing. That's why they did not score points. So yeah, absolutely outstanding job all the way around for Ferrari badge cars and the main team. Also, like you said earlier, Racing Point coming home 2nd and 4th. That's huge for the manufacturer's title. And in addition to that, because our points leader did not show up today, and because Atui ended up DNFing, this is just going to pretty much guarantee it's going to be a 2-horse race for the championship going forward. And with Retro taking home a respectably large haul of points compared to his rivals, he's definitely going to close that gap in on the points leader after today.
Yeah, the drivers is going to be very, very close coming to the end of the season. But what an amazing drive from Smith. I cannot congratulate him much. Snake, he didn't have a really good race. I'm not really sure why. I'm going to speak to him later. Davey had horrible luck. 2 incidents with Herbie. I'm sure they're going to definitely be looked after the race. But yeah, what an amazing race here today. What a crazy race. Monza always brings the best experience for people. And thank you for joining me today.
No, thank you for joining me also, Ozda. Absolutely incredible race at Monza. Rain starting off the day and qualifying and ending the day in the race with a whole lot of craziness and chaos all throughout. Only 12 drivers finished the race. Not the worst we've seen, but definitely one of the rougher ones. But anyways, in about an hour and a few minutes, I'm going to have to go and be covering the X2 broadcast on the main Extreme Racing League channel. But yeah, thank you very much again, Ozda, for joining me. That's going to be the end of our broadcast here in F1 2020 for the XRL X3 series. That was wonderful. I just, every time I see Ferrari win at Monza, it makes my day significantly better. Even if it's just in the game, I don't care. I'm happy. So yeah, but anyways, that's going to wrap up our broadcast here for XRL X3. Next week, where are we going next week, Ozda? Do you remember? Singapore. So in 1 week's time, the XRL X3 series will be heading to Singapore at the same time, same channel. We look forward to seeing you there.